Guys, we're going to give everybody a couple of minutes to get back on with us. Of course, I'm Reed Booth, Killer Bee Guy, live from the Hive. That's right. We, as you know, just did a huge removal for these two wonderful folks who you'll meet in a second. All right. They were having breakfast here at the OK Corral because it's not great. It's okay.
It's the town of mediocrity.
Yes, it's the town.
Good enough mind.
The good enough mind, the OK Corral. The OK Cafe. Oh my God. Well, these hives, the hive that we just removed was way beyond okay. It was stupendous. It was ridiculous. So if you guys did not see it, what did we name it, Hosh? What did we name that?
Tombstone Terror.
Tombstone Terror. Perfect. Tombstone Terror. That's what we took. So I want to introduce you guys. We got Hosh on camera, of course. I'm Reed Booth, Killer Bee Guy. We're talking to the people that got attacked this morning and called me about, what, 6:30 this morning, something like that. So, first of all, we have Wanda. Now, Wanda, you got stung how many times?
3 or 4.
3 or 4. And in the head.
Well, one on the cheek, one on the lip, and one on the collarbone, and I'm not sure.
Yeah, you lose count. You lose count. And then we have Clay Greathouse over here. Now,
Arizona Desert Rat Realty.
yes, yes.
Throwing my
Do
glove.
it, do it, buddy, do it.
Well,
Damn.
you were talking about good enough, but he's great.
Oh, is he
great.
great enough or just great?
The great house.
You're great. So Clay is a realtor, and Wanda is her son was gifted this house, correct?
Yes.
And now this is the house that Wanda grew up in. It's been in the family for how long?
The property has been in the family since 1944. or
1944.
45. My stepfather bought it for about $30 from the county.
Oh, well, after what happened this morning, I'll give you $28.95. I tell you right now, these guys both got attacked seriously this morning. Wanda has a walker, couldn't use it, of course. Clay, being Superman that he is, tucked his cape in, picked her up, and threw her in the truck. So you guys called me from the truck. How many times did you get stung?
At least 10. I don't
least
know,
10.
man. It was like 3 or 4 up here and down my leg and on my arm. It's hard to keep track.
Is it?
All I was thinking is getting the hell out of here.
Is it about the worst nightmare?
It was scary. Totally caught me off guard. I was like, at first it's like, what's going on? You know, you start hearing a little buzzing and then feel a little prick and you're like, wait a second, what's happening here?
Then
I
you're an
ran
adult.
back. I don't know why. I went back to the truck, had my screwdriver, and I saved it. I threw it in the back of the truck.
So he lost his marbles, but he saved the screwdriver. That's that.
And then saw Wanda back there. She's like, what are you doing? Why are you running back there? And then she's like, I see her start doing this. It's like, so what are? I'm thinking, what do we do? Got to get out of here. I ain't running. I can't run with a Wanda for one, you know. So
Right, right. You can outrun Wanda.
I can and I don't think, unlike a bear, I don't think if you leave her behind, I don't think bees are all going to stick to her. I think they'll follow me too.
It depends on if you've been stung, primarily, because they go for the pheromone.
Yeah. You know, that was so weird. We got in the truck. So we threw her in the truck. I ran around, jumped in. The car was trying to start it. For some reason, at this point, it would not start. I don't know what that was about.
Of course not.
But I got the windows to go up, and we fought off the few that were in there with us, you know.
Right.
You could smell this perfume smell. I mean, it was like, whoa, that is weird.
They could smell the venom.
I could smell it, and I could. It's how strong it was, you know. So.
We talk about.
You're
this.
one of the few. A lot of people don't ever in their lives
A
get
lot
to
of people
smell
don't,
that.
don't believe us. Because they get so mad, and they were today when we did the removal. They're dripping venom on our nets.
Oh, wow.
We smell it every day.
Yeah.
So we're talking with the folks that got attacked by killer bees this morning here in Tombstone, Arizona. We're putting the wild back in Wild West here. That's for damn sure. They were huge, horrible stinging incident. They're both live. We're having breakfast here at the OK Cafe here in Tombstone, Arizona. So these guys got attacked. Wanda and Clay, they're sitting here. I can't believe it. It's just awesome because a lot of people don't survive this type of thing. So, Wanda, so he got you in the truck. You left this behind.
Yes.
Your whatever.
One of my shoes.
Your shoes, yeah, one of the shoes. I mean, when we got there, this happens a lot, where there will be things strewn around. You know, we've seen weed whackers and glasses and hats and all things, because when you get attacked, it's pretty unnerving. I mean, did you?
I didn't realize what was going on even after I started getting stung, and then I started to try to back up and knock them off.
Right.
But I wasn't thinking of a beehive.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. And I guess no one really is. I mean, did you think that? I guess once you cognized it was bees, huh, Clay?
Did I think there's a beehive in there?
Yeah, no, of course not.
Didn't cross my mind at that point, but
Right.
you know,
Yeah, people think rattlesnakes, right?
Yeah.
They might,
you know, I had a run in with one of those, some of them stinking hornet
Yeah.
things one time that were about
Sure.
as ferocious. You know, I
probably-
opened up a shed door and I looked at it and I saved their nest. And the time I looked at that thing,
They came
they
up.
were attacking me,
Yeah.
stinging them. Their stings hurt worse than the bees,
Yeah,
but
they
there
do.
was not as many of them as the
That's
bees.
the
You know,
key.
There's
so.
not as many, exactly. Yeah.
Well, you know, Clay, you literally saved her life. you-
Good. I'm glad I
No.
was there to save her.
No, it's there's no question.
Yeah, he saved.
He saved
literally
your life.
saved your life because people. This happens when people will get attacked, and so much that you're inhaling bees. It's like drowning, is what people have told us. Where during an autopsy after a major stinging incident, this happens a lot. There will be bees in the lungs and stomach. It's like drowning because they don't care. They will attack. They go for the CO2 coming out of your nose and mouth, but beyond that, it's the pheromone. When you get stung, pheromones are just smells. There's millions of them. You guys know that.
It's a hormone.
It's a pheromone,
Right. But it's,
and it's an attack pheromone. And if they all turn into white blood cells, is what happens. They all turn kamikaze. They will do anything to protect the hive, and they don't care if you're dead or not. I've seen the air so saturated in attack pheromone, what you smell, that's what it is, that they're stinging birds
Smells
flying
good.
overhead.
It does smell good.
Yeah, it actually.
It does smell
You know
good.
what? If it didn't make bees want to kill you, I'd make a clone out of the damn stuff because it smells nice. It smells sweet and good, but it makes them want to kill you. But I've seen them sting birds flying overhead, telephone poles, and tires on trucks, stinging everything. Because they don't care if you're dead or not. It's just the pheromone. That's what it is. And so, you guys really, you could have bit the mullet. We say
They were mean too.
They were mean.
Those
they were
bees,
aggressive.
we rank them like basically in terms of aggressiveness, 1 through 5.
With five being super
the
aggressive?
worst. That it was a 5.
They were a 5.
Straight up.
Yeah.
And those are the ones that swarm on people and kill them.
We had them in our trailer, and I don't think it was you that came out, but you couldn't get them out of the end in front of the trailer. A fifth wheeler up in the hitch.
Yeah, of course.
So I
They
at one
love them.
point got my ladder. I was up on the front of this thing, and I was frustrated because he tried smoking them out and everything, and I started banging on, get the hell out of my trailer, And they were finally started moving, and he's like, keep it up, whatever you're doing. They're moving them, and he's sucking them up with a vacuum.
Yeah, we don't use a vacuum. These bees tend really avoid the suction.
Yeah.
And so we don't use a vacuum anymore. We do use smoke. I haven't used smoke for 13 or 14 years. These Africanized bees don't care about smoke.
Yeah.
We don't do it at night because we're too busy. And also, you got to be able to see what you're doing at night. So they attack light at night.
Yes, please, thank you.
I'm going to move these around here. Thank you, Wanda.
you're welcome.
We got breakfast coming, everybody.
Thank you.
It's an okay breakfast because we're at the OK Cafe. So this is really amazing. I'm so glad you guys are alive because these Africanized stinging incidents, they killed Dan Oldfield down in Bisbee a couple of years ago. And that wasn't even a hive like what you had. That was a ball of bees hanging in a tree. It was a swarm. And, he's a good friend of mine, and I miss the curmudgeon.
Lee just got on here and said
Oh, yeah.
just on the 28th of June, a man up in Peoria,
Yeah,
outside of Phoenix.
Oh, yeah, outside of
dead,
Phoenix, yeah.
Dead.
Got killed.
Yeah.
There are so many stinging incidents. We saw Lee is one of the Killer Bee Nation, one of our family online, right? We've got a lot of people that really, thank you so much. It looks awesome.
Like any hot sauce Tabasco?
I would
I have
like
some jam. I'll have some jam for the
Okay.
toast, I guess. So he sent us an article about that has a lot of info in it, but it was very interesting because in Guadalajara, Mexico, okay, that one city, every month there are over 300 attacks in just in Guadalajara, Mexico,
Where's
And
it?
that was 10 years ago.
and that was 10 years ago. That
Guadalajara is located.
old Mexico.
I know, but located close to where?
It's down it's near the state of Jalisco. It's about straight west from Mexico City, west and north a bit.
Okay.
But just so the prevalence of these things is unnerving, and how aggressive they are. And that's just the reported attacks. People don't realize that here in Cochise County, every day in the summer, people get stung. Every day. Like what happened to you guys today won't make the paper. It won't make it anywhere except what we're trying to do, educate people here, across the country and across the world about Africanized bees and that they are not good.
So I was surprised when we, called the marshal, like telling them the situation.
Yeah.
I was surprised when they're like, "What do you want us to do?"
Oh God. Do you need
Like,
an
well, I
ambulance?
not really ready to do something. I just thought maybe you would like to know that there's some pissed
Yeah.
off bees in
Well,
town.
and then
You
that-
are the marshal of Tombstone.
Yeah, and we like I told you on the phone, we had to rescue a fireman trapped in his house in Sierra Vista the other night. We've it's kind of interesting. I think I'm the only civilian, in fact, I'm sure of it, the only civilian in this country that has closed the international border 4 times because of bees, of course. I mean, these bees don't care what uniform you got on, unless it's ours, I guess. Then they're in trouble, right? We're like the men in black. We're the men in what used to be white, because they were white, now they're dirty as hell. Our bee suits. But I'm just glad to see you guys have appetites and are with us, because extremely dangerous, scary situation. So after these guys called us this morning, I got on the horn with 911 and the hospital in Sierra Vista. I told them they were en route so they could get the ER ready with whatever they needed, antivenom, Benadryl, whatever, and assess their situation, see how many times they got stung. You really can't risk it. You really, you don't know. And part of the problem is you may not have been allergic ever to honeybee venom, but then there's that one time when you will be. Now, the analogy that I tell people is some people are born allergic to peanuts and then get over it. Some people are born not allergic to peanuts and then all of a sudden when they're 32 years old become allergic to peanuts. So I think it's the same thing with a lot of things. You don't know when or why. And so that was why I was glad you took Benadryl, you got Benadryl in you. And so we got them to the hospital. They drove down Charleston Road to the hospital. And of course, I was on the phone with the marshal at that time to have the sergeant, who worked very well. Thank you so much, Sergeant Garcia, for coming out and going door to door, making sure everybody had their pets in and whatnot. And so it basically was a successful killer bee removal. We did it. But we know what I realized a long time ago, Wanda, is this is a war that I have to win every time. If I lose, if I don't win that war, I'm dead.
To become allergic to bees, you just about always have to have been stung at some point in time. And then your body builds up this thing, and then you become allergic, and then when you get stung, you get anaphylactic.
Yes.
Live on what?
Yes.
So you
On YouTube and TikTok.
Killer Bee Guy. Yeah, we're live, you guys, on TikTok and YouTube. The video of the removal is on YouTube right now, Killer Bee Guy, and it's called Tombstone Terror, which is not our waitress. She's absolutely wonderful. She's absolutely divine. She's hiding over there.
Killer Bee Guy on YouTube?
Correct. Yep. Killer Bee Guy on YouTube. So if you guys want to see the actual removal, we raced down in the fire truck, and we took care of it. But it's over. But you saw the pictures of the hive itself, and it was really interesting because, of course, they were pouring out from underneath that piece of plywood. There was a piece of plywood behind the door because the place had been burned years ago and everything was boarded up, all the windows, all the doors. And so we, of course, had to get in and see where the hell it was. So the door, they had already gotten, was that door laying off to the side already when you got there this morning, or did you have to pull it?
The door was there on the ground.
Okay, on the ground, okay. So then that piece of plywood was there, and they were coming out from underneath that door. So we sealed that up to begin with expanding foam, just so while we unscrewed it, they wouldn't come pouring out. It was going to be bad enough when we opened the can of worms, you know, all hell. And so then when we opened it up, well, you saw the pictures, you saw the video. And so I'm just really glad that you guys survived.
So did you, I guess I could watch the video, but you removed all that wax and
Yeah,
everything?
yep. What we did was killed the bees, of course. You know, what we use is I developed all these techniques over 30 years of doing this, staying alive, basically. I realized a long time ago that I don't care if they're dead or not. I just don't want them flying around. So we use a spray adhesive. I like Elmer's in a can. Don't try this at home, you guys. This is not a DIY channel. And so we sprayed in the air, because they're all in the air, they're flying around. But if their wings are stuck together, they can't fly. So we knocked down about 30,000 of them, just with a little bit of spray adhesive in the air, and then proceed to cut the comb down and remove all of that. And so now what's going to happen, and this is what I have to explain to these guys, is what's going to happen now is, after any war, there are a bunch of bees left over, of course. It's like herding cats. You're not going to get them all. Well, those are called remnant bees because they're leftovers. They're leftovers of the hive. They are like an amputated limb. All right? You can live without your finger, but your finger can't live without you. So, the bees that are left there are like individual cells of an organism. They will die off over the coming days. Now also, they have nowhere to go. They cannot go to another hive. Every hive is an enemy of every other hive. The only reason that they visit each other, steal honey. They're total Vikings. And the Africanized bees are 1,000 times worse at everything than European bees. So they cannot go to another hive, and they can't go back into their hive. They're on the outside of that door, kind of balling up right now, because there's probably 3,000 or 4,000 of them, and they will die off. If it rains, they'll drown. It'll be awesome, because they cannot live without the rest of the hive, rest of the body. Again, amputated limb. All right. So the second reason you're going to have bees farting around for a week or so at that location is in a 3-mile radius, all the beehives know about each other. Again, in case they can steal honey from each other. So you're going to have robber bees. So you got robbers and remnants. Your remnant bees are going to die off. Your robber bees are sniffing around thinking they can get in there and steal some honey. The guard bees at the entrance to any hive, their job is to mainly keep them away. Each hive even smells different to every other hive, just like people do. So if an individual bee goes to another hive, they can smell it and go, no, you don't belong here. And they'll chase it off or kill it. So you're going to have robber bees. Now, robber bees are like bees on flowers. They don't care about us. They want to get the goods to go home. There are no goods yet. So the point is, we left police tape up there at the entrance driveway. We taped off the whole thing with police tape, you know, the red caution stuff, because we don't want any looky-loos up there. We don't want anybody getting stung. The liability in the state of Arizona is too huge. All right. Anybody, the law actually states that, and you guys know, I actually helped write it. It's Arizona Revised Statute 36-601. And it states that if you have an unmanaged feral hive on your property, legally you have to have it removed. It's a liability thing, right? And so you guys really nipped a lot in the bud today by having it removed. Nobody's going to go get attacked. We looked all over the house. We looked all over the property in case there was another hive. Because even though they're enemies of each other, like I told you before, the attack pheromone's the same. The Ugahorn and the submarine's the same. So when one hive gets riled up, they all get riled up. And they will not only be attacking each other, but everything else.
So you went through every room in the house?
Absolutely.
looking for more.
Absolutely. Yep. And there was clean, nothing.
Okay, and you said something about you put foam across the bottom of the plywood.
At that door, yes. And that is so that the bees that are coming back from the war, now, they are defeated.
Right.
Because after any war, there comes a point where one side is either defeated or there's a truce. Well, there's never a truce with these things. They have to be defeated. So I don't want those bees going back into where they were because it's a protected place in there and they could live longer. They still couldn't live for very long without the hive. But outside, in this heat or in rain, they will die off quicker. All right, so that's still sealed at the bottom, and we screwed that back up. So, but that, it's just expanding foam. So when you go back at some point in a week or something, you'll be able to unscrew that thing, pull that door off, and go in and assess the situation. Watch your step in there. That floor has been burnt. So you want to watch your step. But, yeah, so there were no other hives in there. We looked all over. We always do that. We always do a survey. We call it a survey to make sure. Because if there's more than one hive, we have to prepare for that. That's another contingency. So it's fascinating stuff, and I'm sorry this is your introduction to it. They lived through it.
Well,
So,
I mean, I knew about the killer bees and coaches Johnny Bee with that.
oh yes,
And
yeah, for years.
when I lived on the mining claim ranch, one day I was out and there was a big swarm of mesquite tree up by the well, and I just didn't do anything. The next day it was gone.
They did move on. Now, of course, this is nature's way of propagating the area with bees. There was a hive somewhere out there, like your hive. 10 or 20% of the bees take off and go find a new place to live. You still have that hive. Problem with these Africanized bees is European bees will do that 5 or 6 times a year. Africanized hives, 30 times a year. Per hive, they will divide. So,
You're welcome.
so,
You guys doing all right here?
oh, I wouldn't go that far with it, but the food's great.
How about the service?
The service, look at this. Is this amazing? Oh my God, our waitress is awesome. Oh, because we're at the OK Corral. The service is way beyond OK. So, yeah, I'm just glad you guys made it. Awesomeness. Does anybody have any questions for us out there?
You know, people are asking what happened to the leftover bees.
Okay, well, remnant bees, you know, they will die off. They will ball up at their front door, down right there. They'll be on the outside in that lower left corner because that was where their front door was. But they can't get in. But they have nowhere else to go. So they will die off one at a time, just like individual cells. And in a few days they'll all be gone, and then it'll be safe. People always ask me, how will I know when it's okay? Oh, you'll know. There won't be any bees. There won't be no running away again.
Well, we came so early and it was, just barely light
Yeah.
because of the heat, and this heat wave down here.
Oh yeah. This is horrible.
And it says it's gonna rain, and it doesn't.
I know. The great tease. They say it's going to rain, then it doesn't. Every damn day.
I got a little rain last night at my place.
He's down toward Naco.
On towards Naco, yeah. San Jose neighborhood.
Closer to the river, you're gonna have to get some rain.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, all right, guys. Well, if there are no other questions,
I got a question.
Yes, and look, right at the damn table. Well, yes, sir. You can put
What
your hand down.
happened,
Point that over there. What the hell?
What happens to the honey that came out of there?
You're breaking up. The reception just got horrible here at this table.
Do I gotta buy some of it out of one of your stores now?
Now you're talking sense. The reception just got really good. No, anyway, we do take the money on the honey. Okay, the honey that came out of there, which was not very much, because there might have been, what, 10, 20 pounds?
Yeah, not much.
No, 20 pounds.
If that.
If that.
It was mostly eggs.
It was mostly eggs. Mostly brood comb, it's called. Where they're, okay, these Africanized bees are fickle as hell. We never know what to expect from them. And, of course, that's half the fun because we're in bee suits, so we can get away with it. So they normally with a European hive, they go have their cycles within the season. Where like in April, they're gonna swarm, and then the mesquites come out and bloom, and then they get all their nectar, and then in the next month or two, they're putting up honey, and so there is a cycle to it. But these Africanized bees, they're putting out brood or babies all year round, which European bees never would do that. So there was a bunch of larvae, a lot brood coming, which of course to us is useless because it's protein, and unless you're a big fan of eating larvae, I've done that, but I think tequila was involved. But Hostess chickens love it. So Hostess chickens got a lot of larvae today. And you'll see it on the videos. Say we're just taking off sheet after sheet, going, well, more larvae, well, more brood comb.
Well, do they make a honeycomb like other
Yes,
bees?
yes, they are a honeybee.
So they make a waxing comb,
That is correct.
and then you separate the honey from the
That is
comb,
correct. That is,
and
it's
then
all by hand.
And then you sell all the honey.
Yeah, we take the money and the honey.
And the wax.
And the wax, beeswax is so inexpensive now that it doesn't behoove us to separate it out. And so again, Hostess chickens get it at this point. Now the honey, so because we take the money and the honey, Wanda, I decided a long time ago that we're not double dipping, we're triple dipping. Because we can. So there. So anyway. Anybody got any other questions for us?
No, everybody's really happy you're both okay. You know,
Thanks, everyone.
our whole group on there, yeah.
Yeah.
People are really happy to see you're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not often that we get to sit and chat at the OK Cafe with people who have been attacked and whatnot, and you know have survived. Literally. You guys, I tell you, you guys should both go buy lottery tickets. You did good. I'm proud of y'all. So anyway.
Well, I'd like to say thank you for taking your call, because we got your cell phone number from the marshal's office.
Yes.
And taking it and responding so quickly, because we just kind of didn't know what to do.
How could you? How could you? You know what I usually tell people, Wanda, is...
Next time I will.
Yeah, next time I will. We hear that a lot, too. I always tell people it's like a bomb waiting to go off. Well, it already did. It already did. That fuse was short and that bomb was big.
There are a lot of trees on that property,
Yes.
down in where the water runs through.
Yeah.
And there have to be hives of some kind down in there.
Yes. Yeah, you know, you really have to be on the lookout all the time. In oak trees or mesquite, they're not usually big enough around here to be hollow. Cottonwoods, yes. Cottonwood trees are full of hives. Problem with cottonwood trees is hives are usually 80 foot up. You know, where they do like to live in a situation like what you have at that place is they will live underground in a rodent warren or a rabbit warren or something. They'll live underground. European bees would never do that. Africanized are living underground now. Also, if there's an old tire out there or an old box or something, they will live in a cardboard box. So it basically just, you got to keep your eyes peeled. If you see activity, get the hell out of there.
Did you check that, an air conditioning thing that was running
Yes.
on the ground?
Yep, there was nothing in there. We did a perimeter check around the house and also an interior check to make sure there was, you know, nothing hanging off the ceiling, because we've seen it, you know. So you're good to go. I need catastrophe averted.
Yeah, really.
Literally averted. Yeah. So I'm so glad you were able to get a hold of us. It's such a pleasure to have breakfast with you, and of course, good to meet you, buddy.
Well, you're a good guy, Reed.
Thank you.
We all of us.
Wait, you're breaking up. What'd you say?
All of us in Cochise County
No,
appreciate
what
the
was that?
service.
Is that right before that?
You're a good guy.
Oh, okay. What's that again? I'm breaking up.
Kind of a dickhead, but he's a good guy.
It's so meeting with you,
Well, thank you, Wanda. Thank you.
talking to you on the phone.
Thank you. Well, I'm so glad you guys are okay. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to let Host say goodbye because you haven't seen him at all during this soiree. He got to eat. I'm going to eat now, damn it. So anyway, we love you guys. Thank you so much for coming along with us. We'll catch you in the funny papers. We'll see you on the next time around.